Hello all, I'm Josh, this is Josh Build Stuff, and today we're counting down the top 10 LEGO Starfield MOCs that I found on the internet and put into a list in no real particular order, but I kind of like number 1 more than I like number 10, but we're not criticizing or critiquing any of these builds because they're made by other people. If you're saying, surely you could have spent all of this time building your own Starfield MOCs instead of showing off other people's, no I couldn't, because I've spent all of my time playing Starfield itself. And don't call me Shirley. Let's get right into the list, starting with number 10. This is the Micro LEGO Frontier by Reddit user Gibbs Free Synergy. The Frontier, for those who don't know, it's like the main or the first or like the most marketed ship from the Starfield game. It's got really weird angles to it, and so they're well achieved, even at this micro scale. I like the use of the stud shooters here for the landing gear. It's got like the fuel tanks and the big engines in the back. If you see the actual ship, this is actually a pretty nice representation of it. And I hope you're a fan of that design, because number 9 is the Starfield Frontier ship. This one's on Rebrickable. This is by user Irvin Nash 2009. Boy, I hope that's not this person's birthday, because they would be a child. This is like a slightly larger scale version of, again, the Frontier, again with those weird angles. It kind of looks like an animal hunched down. That's what the ship looks like. We got fuel tanks and engines once again. This little build can be built for only $3. Well, the instructions can be bought for $3. It's only 350 pieces. Probably build it yourself relatively inexpensively. I promise not all of these builds are of the Frontier, so make like in-game adhesive and stick around. Number 8 is not the Frontier. I need to get something for this one. This is the Apollo 11 Lunar Lander, at least the lower half of the Apollo 11 Lunar Lander, and not to spoil anything in the game, but you can visit the Earth's solar system, and you can visit the moon, and you can visit the site of the Apollo 11 Lunar Lander, at least the lower half, which was left on the moon. This is also a bit of a cop-out. I know this isn't a custom build or anything, but fun fact, this top 10 list may be the only 10 LEGO Starfield builds that exist on the internet right now. Why aren't more talented builders out there building these MOCs? Well, I imagine they're all also currently playing Starfield with every free minute of their days. For those who don't know, Starfield is the latest large open world RPG video game released by Bethesda Game Studios, the same studio behind the Fallout series and the Elder Scrolls games. This game is just like those games, except this game is in space! But now that I've completed the game, at least in terms of Xbox achievements, you can't really complete the game. You reach the new universe, multiverse. I'm not going to spoil too much there. It goes on for a long time. I've completed the game as much as I'm going to right now, so I have time to talk about LEGO creations of the game. Let's get back to it with number 7. It's the Frontier, again on LEGO Ideas. Please do actually support all these people that I'm going to list in the description down below. This one made by Super Spruce 101. This Frontier is slightly larger than the other Frontiers. I like this one. It's got some of the minifigures here. You got Sarah, one of the companions you can have, and that's kind of like a spacesuit of your character. This is Vasco. He's like a robot companion you can have along with you. This one's fun. It's got interiors modeled, and that's cool. This looks like there's a little succulent in the corner there. This is like the cargo hold, and you can detach it here. But be careful when you change one aspect of your ship, because then all of the contents of the ship will get thrown into your cargo hold, and you'll be like, why am I over capacity all of a sudden? It's because you've got the 400 kilograms of dumbbells that were now loose. There's a lot of quirks to this game. It's great, but there are a lot of, it's an early game. I hope the next one isn't a model of the Frontier. It's not. Number 6 is, look at this one. I like this one. This one is on Reddit from user Terrace120 Builds. It is a micro scale model of the city of Akila City, which is a city on the planet Akila. I guess technically there is also a micro scale LEGO Frontier in this build. That was unintentional. You got the spaceport over here on the right side, and then like the walls surrounding the city, the Asha, are a big problem on this planet. You've got like all of the corresponding shops on that main drag, and I'm sure the shepherd's puddle has been patched by this point. You could steal stuff from underground. There's a lot of quirks to this game. And honestly, it would be a lot of fun to have had this map when playing the actual game, because then you may have found your way around this very confusing city, because this game doesn't have any mini maps in cities or on entire planets. Again, great game, missing a couple of components. Number 5? Number 5 is Into the Starfield by the Bricketeer on LEGO Rebrickable. This instruction can be yours for only £1.50, conversion rates included. I realize this one also includes a small version of the Frontier, but this one is built in the same style as the Tales of the Space Age set, which came out last year. I've got some on my shelves back there. There are these kind of tiny artistic dioramas of classic space exploration bits, and this one is fantastic because not only does it look Starfield-esque, it has like the color scheme that's used in the Starfield material and marketing material and logos and stuff, and that is a beautiful little touch there. And honestly, I will probably buy the pieces and build this myself to put it alongside the other Tales of the Space Age. Should I mention that it was actually very hard to find a lot of LEGO MOCs from Starfield here? This one is special and different. This is the Frontier Modular Spaceship by George P148. The Frontiers, as you can tell, they're getting larger and larger. Again, some of that intense detail going on in this thing. Big old engines. You got the docking port up there on top, landing gear all up on them sides. You got the little entryway there. But the fun part about this build is the modularity, as implied by the name Modular Spaceship. If you have spent any time in the in-game ship builder, which I would recommend you do, it's one of the better aspects of this game in my opinion. This is kind of how all of the bits of the ships are laid out. You've got halves and you've got cockpits and you've got different kind of engines and landing gear and reactors and grav drives and fuel tanks, and those can all be changed out for other parts. And honestly, I think because of that large level of ship customization, that's why we're not seeing a ton of LEGO MOCs of ships, because everyone built their own ships probably, and so you're not going to get a LEGO set based on your own ship. Before we get into the top 3, you may have noticed that there's a little bit of repetition in some of the builds that we've seen so far, so I'm trying to think through the game and think of things that I would love to see built in LEGO. Things like, I don't know, any ship in the game besides the Frontier, any in-world items that are kind of iconic or fun or new, like chunks as a food item or cred sticks, those are fun, or like the Cuddle a Sword, there's a lot of plushies in the game, you can collect them, a lot of fun. Show me those, but in LEGO. Or, you know, LEGO won't make these, but people can recreate these. Any weapon in LEGO form that's in the game. There are a lot of very cool, unique, decent looking weapons in the game. I can't wait to see people recreate those in LEGO. Or any creature from this game, in-game known as fauna, and I guess just as Linnean classifications go. But you explore a lot of planets and discover a lot of new different species of fauna throughout this game, and LEGO could make some of those as LEGO sets. Those are my hopes for future LEGO creations, but my other hope is that you would like and subscribe to this video and channel, just like Hope Tech. It's a city, there's a ship manufacturer, and also a guy named Hope is in this game, so I would hope that you would like and subscribe. Number 3, I don't know, this is another micro scale build by Terrace 120 Builds, this one of New Atlantis. It's kind of the main largest city in the game, but this one, if you've played or seen anything from the game, it's got a lot of those iconic locations which you probably have great in-game memories of, like the spaceport where you fought off Terramorphs. Spoiler alert, if you're not that far into the game, the mass transit line is there, which you can largely ignore because you can fast travel to anywhere in the city. You've got the waterfall promenade there where I denied Sarah's advances. A lot of the followers in this game, they're kind of needy here. You got the different districts, the commercial and residential, and again, I assume this is the way that they're laid out in the game, but again, no mini-map in the game. I think I have an apartment that I got in one of these tall buildings, which I was very excited to spend a lot of time decorating, and then there's a certain main story mission which will completely reset the interior of those apartments, and you'll lose a lot of things that you spent the entire game collecting and cherishing, and you just say, forget it. I will leave behind all of my loved ones and possessions, and I'm going to a different universe. See you later. Maybe in the next universe, my apartment won't get completely reset. Number 2 is our old pal Vasco. Remember, one of the possible companions, this one being a robot that you can have hang out with you in this game. We saw him in micro scale earlier, now he's in slightly larger scale, not to be confused with the discontinued and canceled mech from that Overwatch 2 set. This is actually a pretty good representation of this character. This one made by Super Spruce 101 on LEGO Ideas. Go support it now, but I don't know, I like Vasco as a companion. He's not as annoying or pushy as a lot of the other human companions in this game, so I enjoyed hanging out with him there, and I would love to hang out with him in this little, you know, diorama form here. And number 1, I'll give you a single guess on what it's the Frontier, but it's okay. hear me out, okay? This is a Frontier, again, on Reddit, Starfield, and it's made by Martian Buddy 3. It might look different from the other Frontiers because it is actually physically created, as they're real pieces. Someone built this for real in real life. You got Vasco there again in micro scale. This is the largest, I think, of the Frontier builds that we've seen so far, and again, this one is built with real Lego pieces. It also has interiors going on, and I don't think it's modular, but that doesn't matter. And it's got different rooms and stuff, and it's good. Look at it, it's big. I would love to own this as an official Lego set in some level of scale. So this is fantastically built. And I mean, what was the list not going to end with a Frontier going here? So this is fantastic. I can't wait to see other things that this person may create. So that is the top 10 LEGO Starfield creations that I could find on the internet. Let me know which of these is your favorite. Let me know if you can find a single other LEGO creation made on the internet somewhere. And I'm not counting those like knockoff Amazon Vasco builds that are LEGO compatible. Not counting those. As always, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. I'm literally not planning on editing this video right away because I still have enough time tonight to play a bit of Starfield before bed. This has become a problem.